gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Music Mondays podcast. And it is a new year, new Music Mondays, everything. We're live. It's 2024. How we doing, my friends? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Per usual, I'm your host, Dom Slays. I hope you guys had a fantastic new year and a fantastic Christmas season, my friends. Fantastic holiday as well, whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate everything at all. I hope you guys had a safe, happy, and healthy vacation. But it is time for us to get back into the mix here, my friends. It's time. Per usual, I'm your host, Dom Slays. This is episode 154, and we have a couple of things to go through for our weekly recap, my friends. When it comes down to the weekly recap, we're going to go over that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Music Mondays Awards, talk about what's coming down in 2024 in like the first quarter or so. We'll be switching over to some reviews. Let's absolutely get right into it. All right, like I said, I'm your host, Sam Slays. This is episode 154, and let's talk about what happened at Music Mondays over the course of the last week or so, because some time has passed, my friends. Some time has passed. We didn't have a show on Monday because obviously Christmas. So, like I said, I hope you guys had a fantastic holiday and everything like that. So we rolled right into Christmas. I had a good Christmas, chill Christmas. You guys know the drill. And then we popped off with some Patreon love actually on Tuesday the 26th. We were showing our November Patreons a bunch of love, making sure that we recognized everybody throughout November, and we still have the December thank you to go out as well. So huge shout out to everybody that has came through and supported Music Mondays on Patreon throughout November and December, my friend. Much love and thank you. We'll have a couple of Patreon updates for you guys here in a bit. A couple things I want to talk about and whatnot, but that takes us into Wednesday, where we actually dropped two brand new articles. One by the homie Waterfalls, where Water basically compiled his top 15 albums of 2023. Water said he listened to like something like 95 releases throughout the year. So that is a wonderful comprehension and list. So definitely go check that one out. Also, another article is live by Blank Thought, and Blank Thought had 3 short movie reviews and how they relate to creativity, environmental discussions, and a whole lot of like really important aspects that tie into like movies and creativity and music. Kind of a really cool thinking piece. I really enjoyed that one. So if you're even into any movies at all, if movies are your thing, definitely go read that piece, because Blank Thought definitely put together a wonderful piece there. But 2 brand new articles are live right now on allmusicmondays.com by Blank Thought and Waterfalls. Huge shout out to them. The 2023 Music Mondays Awards is pretty much completed, my friend. The second annual Music Mondays Awards. Huge shout out to everybody that attended, voted, won, got nominated, came through, showed love, all that good stuff. And once again, huge shout out to all of our winners. You can actually go check out all the winners on our social media accounts. You can actually go watch the rebroadcast back on our YouTube channel, and of course on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Which actually, speaking of which, episode 153, which was the Music Mondays Awards, is available on all platforms. Wherever you stream the Music Mondays podcast, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. The award show is a good watch. It's a good watch. It's obviously on the shorter side because no reactions, but really solid show there. I like that one a lot. So that takes us all the way into Sunday, my friends. SoundCloud Sunday Volume 115, the very last SoundCloud Sunday of 2023, is available on our SoundCloud. That was curated by just me, and huge shout out to everybody that submitted and everybody that ended up getting placed on the very last SoundCloud Sunday of 2023. Super cool. Super like it's one of my favorite things about Music Mondays. You guys know that. I've spoke about this quite a few times here on the show. But yeah, SoundCloud Sunday is amazing, man, and that's not only just for artists, but it's for listeners as well. So if you have anybody that's like, yo, I need new music, or where do I find this, or do that, da da da, nobody's dropping. SoundCloud Sunday is like your playlist. So definitely make sure you share SoundCloud Sunday if you ever get placed, or if you're like, yo, I know somebody who needs this playlist, because that's what it's for. So, kind of a decent week of content despite being on like holiday vacation, right? I try to take it like as easy as possible, but you know, there's only so much of a break you can really take when, you know, you have to get certain, content pieces out and whatnot. So yeah, that rolls us all the way up until today. Yesterday was New Year's Eve. Today is New Year's Day, the very first day of 2024, which is super super fucking cool. Both major holidays fell on Mondays this year, which was kind of crazy to think about. Because I knew that I wasn't gonna make the Christmas show just because obviously it's Christmas, but I didn't want to skip this show just because um I wasn't planning on like partying too hard last night or anything like that, so I knew I'd be good for the show. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. And plus this is like a good like Monday dose, you know what I mean? So um yeah, man, it's New Year's Day. It's 2024 and Music Mondays is cranking. So a couple of things that are super super important that are coming up in the first quarter or so of um 2024. We're gonna talk about that here in a second. But per usual, I definitely got to talk about these two things you guys already know. Music Mondays is recruiting. We are on the hunt for writers, journalists, graphic designers, media personalities, curators, anybody who's kind of interested in filling any of those roles. Feel free to get in contact with Music Mondays. You'll see a recruiting flyer go up relatively soon, if not this week, probably over the weekend. Um, just because we are still trying to fill a couple of staff spots and bring some new people on the team. So if you're interested in any of those roles, or really if you want any more details on any of those roles, feel free to um, check out our YouTube guide because we have a wonderful video on that that's also located on our website. So definitely go check that out and get in contact with us if anything interests you when it comes to Music Mondays and staff. So, one other thing, we are on the hunt for SoundCloud exclusives. If you have an unreleased SoundCloud track that you'd like to drop through Music Mondays and like to be promoted for free across all of our socials, definitely get in contact with us and let us know. Of course, we are interested in the unreleased version. Feel free to go and drop it on all platforms afterwards if you want, or anything of that nature. We're only interested in hosting the SoundCloud version, mostly to not only provide our listeners with new music, but to be able to promote artists in new ways and start archiving a lot of like good, wonderful underground music on Music Mondays. So that's like a big, big thing for me over there. So again, if you're interested in that, definitely get in contact with us. Send us an email, send us a DM, anything like that. We'd be happy to talk with you. Let's see here. So uh one more thing that also goes for YouTube as well. So if you're interested in getting a visual, lyric video, music video, or anything like that hosted on the Music Buddies YouTube channel of almost 240 subscribers, definitely let us know because we're down to host it and promote it for free across all of our socials, just like unreleased SoundCloud tracks. So definitely get in contact with us and we'll be happy to have that conversation with you as well. We're going into 2024 super, super hot, so we're going to be looking for some more unreleased to start promoting as well. So now that those couple of things are out of the way, so let's talk about the first quarter of 2024. Let's talk about the first couple of months, what's coming here on the show, what's coming on Music Mondays, major updates, things like that. So we'll be refreshing our social graphics relatively soon. You'll see not like a new logo or anything like that. We're gonna keep the same logo, but just a little refresh. Maybe like a new header and things like that. So expect a little refresh and revamp in the coming weeks. That'll be like one major thing for like January, February. And then one other like major thing is I've been looking at merch providers, kind of talking to a couple people to get some exclusive Music Mondays merch made, because that was really like the biggest goal with the Patreon, because the Patreon has just been really accumulating funds, and this is the best way that I think that we can give back to not only the community but our Patreons as well. So we're gonna be looking into Music Mondays merch and just really doing a basic, 25 to like 30T kind of lineup and then see where that goes. And then, of course, we're going to hook up all of our Patreons as well for whoever's subscribed at the time. So make sure you go check out our Patreon if you're interested in Music Mondays merch. Um, but that's going to be something that comes January, February as well. Just need to get a couple of answers and a couple of quality tests. Just because I know with merch, like, it's not, it's one of those things that, like, it's hard to nail it the first time every time, but if you can get like a good start, you're usually pretty good to go. Because even if the first drop is kind of like meh, like I think you could just make it work, switch distributors, things like that. You know what I mean? It's a very like throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks kind of deal. And a lot of people kind of have a lot of good plugs for merch, so we're definitely gonna try to hook you guys up when it comes to that. So those are like two really big things. So social media rebrand, Music Money's merch. Of course, your regular Patreon updates will be standard as well. And then Cyberfest 2. So now the year has finally turned. The year has finally turned. So we had Cyberfest 1 in 2022. And we had such a stacked 2023 that we didn't end up fitting it in. Like, to be honest with you, we had so many events. I had to run so many events. We had a lot of like backed up content, lots of new members, lots of new everything, right? Like 2023 was pretty stacked. Um, so we found it best to hold off on Cyberfest 2 just because the first event went really well. So we didn't really want to tarnish it by like doing a rushed event or anything like that. I wasn't really into that. So I spoke it over with the team, and ultimately we really decided that it was best to just hold off until next year, which is 2024. So that's on the table again as well. So expect some further announcements when it comes down to that. I have to talk to the squad. I haven't talked to them in the new year yet, so um, once I get some staff opinions, we'll be able to talk about Cyberfest 2 and how that's coming along. And then, of course, you can expect your usual monthly and weekly content. Brand new YouTube uploads, Feature Friday, Workshop Wednesday, podcast always, SoundCloud Sunday. We're going to be looking into our first official Spotify playlist as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Written articles, in case you missed it monthly, guests here on the show, a couple of other things that are like, standard, but obviously definitely want to make sure you guys are aware. But yeah, those are like the big things heading into the first quarter of this year. So like January, February, March, those are like the major players that you should be looking out for. So social media rebrand, Music Money's merch, and Cyberfest 2. And then of course, like I said, your standard monthly and weekly content will always be there. But yeah, a couple of big changes, a couple of big exciting things coming up. So we're really excited to show the community really what the point of all this is. You know what I mean? It's finally getting to that area where we can show you guys like the fun stuff. You know what I mean? The real fun stuff. So I'm definitely excited. That's the first like quarter of 2024 layout. So that'll probably be uploaded on the YouTube channel. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely like the video and subscribe because I think we're like 3 subs off of 240. So we're cruising on the way to 250, man. Make sure you subscribe, do all that good stuff, and let's get it. So, Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year, yeah. So, let's get it. I'm very excited to get the year started. I'm very excited to crank through a lot of this work here that we have, to be honest with you. So, let's see here. So yeah, we did the weekly recap. Um, we talked a little bit about 2024. So now I definitely think it is time that we can head into some reactions and reviews, cool, man, which will be very cool. Because this is the first time that we're doing it this year. So, a little bit of a switcheroo here, you know what I'm saying? So, let's pop over screens here, and then here we got. So, you guys know the drill, but if you don't and you're new here, tweets are in the same format every single week, and they always read. Artists and creatives submissions are open for live reviews on Music Mondays, live on January 1st, 2024, 7 p.m. Eastern. Standard Time. Twitch.tv/SonPlays. If you'd like to submit your music, artwork, fashion, or digital creations, drop your links to portfolios below. All art forms are welcome. For our show limit, must be following Music Mondays on Twitter to be eligible. Patreon subscribers, submissions played first week. We got Filter in the chat. What's good, homie? Hope you're well. Get it? Gone After August. I hope you're well. Let's get it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday, my friends. So yeah, like I said, tweets are in the same format every single week. And they'll pretty much always have the same format. All you have to do is just really check the date, and then you'll be able to tell which tweet is for which week, essentially. And then, of course, contrary to our name, Music Mondays, we reacted to pretty much everything here on the show. Everything from literally music, instrumentals, vocals, music videos, edits, visuals, merch, photos, designs, writing, like literally everything, man. So feel free to submit whatever you want to Music Mondays. If you're an independent creator out there that you know, feels that you need a little bit of spotlight, feel free to submit whatever. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we've reacted to pretty much everything here on the show. So feel free to submit whatever. And of course, for our show limit, you know, that's obviously to just make the show a little bit more palatable because we are a weekly live show, right? So it puts a little bit less pressure on the team and myself here as well. So it makes the shows a little bit more easier to watch back, even though, like I always say, one could argue that a 4 hour show is still relatively long, right? But not as bad as like the 5 or the 6s that we used to do in like 2022, 2023. So that's the reason for that as well. And then, of course, submissions are always free. They always have been. They always will be free. So the only thing that we do ask is that you're following Music Mondays on Twitter before you submit, not only to help grow our platform and help spread our message, but of course just to pay respect to everybody else that does submit and does follow Music Mondays and wants their submissions played. And of course you gain access to a wonderful community of creatives. So kind of a win-win. And then of course Patreon submissions will be played first week. If you're a Music Mondays Patreon, you have access to the Music Mondays Fast Pass, which essentially for the duration that you're pledged to the Music Mondays Patreon, you have all your submissions played first here on the show before everybody else. So if you're interested in the Music Mondays Fast Pass and all the other perks that we offer over there on Patreon, definitely go check that out. And huge shout out to everybody who's subbed to the Patreon, man. I think we got one new Patreon tonight. And yeah, man, the Patreon's been doing really well. So huge shout out to you guys over there, man. Literally. But yeah, huge happy new year to the chat. Happy Monday. Let's fucking get it, Filter. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. So yeah, that's about it. The only other thing that you really need to know is that submissions close a couple hours before the show starts. Really to just get a head count and just to make sure that we get no late submissions, right? Nobody like kind of cuts through and, you know, this guy gets above this guy and I submitted last week, and you know, we are a live show, so we like to keep things a little bit of you know, free flow and pretty easy to follow. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. Submissions are pretty much open for like a solid week. Once you see us live, submissions are pretty much closed. So make sure you get your tracks in within the 7 days per usual. But let's get into it, chat. I believe we have one Patreon tonight. Yep, we got the homie Jordan right here, and let's see. I think yeah, just one Patreon coming through tonight. I am down with the cause. I'm absolutely down with the cause. So our first Patreon of the night and our first submission of the night is the homie Jordan, aka Jordan Andrew. Now, this is an artist who had a fantastic 2023, but I'm pretty sure that Jordan's gonna have an insane 2024. So I'm definitely excited to see what the first submission is gonna be like for the year. So let's get into it. Now, for those of you that don't know Jordan, a super talented alternative vocalist, submitted Sword in My Hand. Let's pop this open a new tab and see. This submission has been open for like 2 weeks due to the Music Mondays Awards, right? The Music Mondays Awards and the holidays as well, because Christmas fell on a Monday. So you are correct. You are absolutely correct. They have been open for like 2 weeks. So we have Prod Jordan here. Got a little art credit in the description. Love that. Oh shit, we got lyrics too. Okay. Let's get into it. We got Jordan, Sword in My Hand. Let's go. I'm down. Okay. I like this fade out a lot. It's like a nice long fade out, you know? Well done. Well done. I didn't know what to expect for the first track of 2024, but that one brings me back. And that one is kind of interesting because it kind of shows how versatile Jordan can really be. Once again, I've definitely heard a couple tracks like that where I was like, "Oh, okay, Jordan's like really tapping into like the like super alternative side." And I like that a lot. This reminds me of Injury Reserve. That's a good shout. Whereas I replied to the code tweet, not the actual. Oh yeah, okay, okay, okay. Once we get to the end of the show, if we have some time, we can definitely take a look for it. No worries, no worries. Yeah, that happens. That happens. All Gucci, my friend. So yeah, well done. This was a trip, very ambient and ethereal, no question. So let's break it down. We're gonna talk about three things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals, and we're talking about the overall theme of this track. So, um, let's let's talk. Let's talk. Tom Exotic, what's good? I hope you're well. Welcome on in. Happy Monday, my friend. So instrumental. Mix is fantastic, and I actually just got a new pair of headphones, so I'll be able to critique mixes a little bit more than I usually do. Not that they, not that I really would, just because certain mixes are like preference anyway, no matter what. But you know how it be when you can hear like, certain ducks and shit like that. So, but yeah, this mix is great to be honest with you. Nothing clashing too overbearing. Vocals definitely sit nice. Has enough grit to it. I like the structure a lot. Yeah, no gripes with the mix. Not really a shocker though. Usually anything that Jordan has their hands on we'll have like a pretty steady mix, you know. Um, so instrumental solid. This is Prod Jordan. So instrumental Shining Star. Mm, again, I like the structure a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Like the structure definitely hit for me. Um, hmm. Something about the melody though, kind of really did it for me to like kick in that like ambient, ethereal kind of vibe. Mm. And the drums are great support, you know. So I'm kind of torn between structure and melody. Probably the melody, just because it's like a lot of the muscle of this instrumental, I think. So probably the melody. Um, but structure's a close second, definitely, definitely. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Let's talk vocals. So, vocal mix. There's a little bit more of a grit to Jordan on this mix. Not exactly like super ambient like, you know, earlier Jordan tracks could be. This one's got a little bit more of like a grit to it, and I like the mix a lot, to be honest with you. It feels like Jordan is experimenting more with mixes when it comes down to like shit that they like to do. I don't feel like they're just like randomly mixing. I feel like when they go to approach like a new song or like a new mix or anything like that, they just like slightly tweak things or just, you know, try to really like spark that new kind of like, oh, you know what I mean? Because you know how it is sometimes when you be in the studio and sometimes you're just like, wait a minute, this actually sounds kind of sick. You know what I mean? So that's a great feeling. So uh, the vocal mix on this track, fantastic. And like I said, it kind of fits like the whole uh, very like ambient, ethereal vibe for sure. So I like the mix a lot. And vocals sit nice, nothing clashing, everything cuts through nicely. Um, definitely no gripes. Definitely no gripes. Um, vocal shining star. Uh, hmm. So the lyrics, the lyrics are minimalistic, but they're powerful. That's the thing with this kind of writing. It is like it's not what's there. It's like how you like deliver this writing, right? So I'm kind of leaning towards delivery, just because it felt passionate. It felt honest. It felt very uh just like kind of laying it all on the line, but like not really caring. You know what I mean? Um, so the style was great. So I think I'm definitely gonna say flow and cadence and delivery. For this one, definitely, definitely. So instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme here. So we have a little bit of um some like very original art here by another artist, and I like when artists do this just because it's like it not only pays respect to like a lot of the older artists, right? But it gives this like mysterious story that, you know, can like add to a song. You know what I mean? And this one kind of like it's almost exactly like what I picture when reading these lyrics and listening to this track. So I feel like uh Jordan actually picking this one was a really good shout because I feel like it matches the track a lot. It really does. Because the track itself has this like old timey feel to it, but it's still very like obviously modern. So there's a good mix of like feeling here, which I think is really cool. Um, so aesthetics on point, overall theme, pretty much to piggyback off of what I just said. It has that good mix of like it feels classical and it's very like vibrant, but it has this sense of like dread to it a little bit, and it has this like one of those like subliminal like it kind of is like a metaphor for like real life, but you're like extending it out to like a written kind of story or fantasy or something like that, right? You're kind of like not exaggerating, but you're really taking it to like that fantasy level or like that kind of like imaginary kind of level, you know what I mean? So it's a very good mix of writing there, especially when it comes down to like blending realities and shit. Like, so I think Jordan did a really good job with this one because despite the lyrics being like easy to like catch on to and it's like okay, like what mattered was the delivery and like how this was delivered, and I think Jordan nailed it. Because like if you're gonna do a track like this, you gotta mean it, and that's one thing you can always guarantee from Jordan is that they're gonna mean it. So well done. Um, so with that said, huge shout out to Jordan. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Make sure you follow Jordan on SoundCloud. They are one follower away from 80 and one follower. Go show Jordan some love. And of course, make sure you follow Jordan on Twitter. 9 followers away from 370. Go show him some love in the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 240 followers on the main channel. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, all a lot of good stuff's available over there on the channel, man. So go show the channel and go show these artists some love. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here. So, let's get back into it. So that was our Patreon of the night. Huge shout out to Jordan. That was wonderful. But we're gonna hop into the community submissions now. So, first, we got the homie, Thomas Marcus. It's been a while since we heard from Thomas. I'm pretty sure Thomas's submission got lost in like translation somewhere a while back, and then before that, I think it was about like a month or so since we last heard from Thomas. So it hasn't been that long. But Thomas, a super talented alternative producer, submitted Love Son. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna pause this John real quick and open a new tab. Pause that here. Full volume. Bump the quality a little bit. And then we'll be good to go. All right, let's get into it. Thomas Marcus, Love Son. Let's go. Yeah, I was waiting for it. Vibes. Your vibes. So gas. Drums are perfect. bit of abrupt stop there. Okay, okay, okay. Um, yeah, man. Thomas back at it again in the new year. Absolutely killing it. Let's talk about it. So, um, we're gonna talk about two things here because obviously no vocals. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme for Love Sun. So, let's talk instrumental. Mix is fucking fantastic. I don't think you could get a better mix on this. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, sure you could, but for what this track is right now, mix is great. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Drums definitely knock. Um, Nothing's kind of like doing too much. There's not too much like action going on. I think everything where it's at is really perfect. Really, really perfect. Um, so instrumental mix, great. Instrumental shining star, this is gonna be a little difficult. So there's a lot I like about this track. It's pretty much everything I like about this track, but the structure and the melody was a big player here. Um, I kind of want to say the structure, just because I felt like it told a story. To be honest with you, especially when it comes to like these lone instrumental releases, I love when producers actually just um consistently release instrumentals and actually build a library up for themselves. I think that's a great thing. But for this one and its length and like how long this is, I definitely think the structure was perfect. Just because it made it like pleasurable to listen to, right? I think people that listen to instrumentals kind of pick up on structures and like how often drops happen and cycles and how many bars are there. You know what I mean? So structure is very important with instrumental releases, and I definitely think Thomas nailed it. So definitely structure. Um, Overall theme. So aesthetics. Thomas definitely tends to lean towards this more like either like vaporwave, almost like futuristic yet classical style. And this is exactly what we have here. We definitely have Thomas back with a more like classical kind of feel to what they do. So definitely kind of hit the spot in terms of like a chill, laid back kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like definitely hit the spot for sure. So aesthetics on point. Um, Overall theme. Now, Love Sun. When it comes down to Love Sun, there's a couple different ways that you could really interpret uh producers solo tracks, right? Especially like instrumentals. So when it comes down to this track specifically, I feel like the cover definitely kind of nails that like chill yet kind of almost like retro kind of feel, because obviously Thomas is like super fantastic at like their lo-fi style, but they tend to mix it with like a little bit of almost like jazzy kind of styles too, right? So um it definitely has that like vacation, but like not really vacation kind of feel to it. So like there's been a couple songs from Thomas that kind of made me feel this way, right? And has that like sunset vacation kind of vibe, but this one has a little bit more of like somewhat of a romantic jazzy vibe. So I definitely think Love Sun like really came through. Like really came through. Like I definitely see the vision on this one. No doubt. Thomas Thomas definitely nailed this for sure. So, well done. Well done, my friend. With that said, huge shout out to Thomas. Thank you so much for the submission. Make sure you go sub to Thomas' channel. They are closing in at 1.1 subscribers on YouTube. And of course, make sure you follow Thomas on Twitter. They are literally 6 followers away from 70, so go show them some love on the bird. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 240 Subarunis on the main channel. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. So make sure you go show these artists and the channel some love. We got a lot of good stuff over there. Tarek, what's good? Happy Monday. Welcome on in. Hope you're well, my friend. Let's get it, baby. Yeah, let's go. But let's get it, Thomas. We have the homie Pooh up next. Now, I think we spoke. We, I think we did react to Pooh to in the last episode in 152, if I'm not mistaken. Either 152 or 151 is where we reacted to Pooh, but we have our choice of a couple of picks here. So I'm definitely down. They submitted Roland Freestyle and the Hollows. So we're gonna go with Roland Freestyle, and then of course if who wants to resubmit next week with their other track, I'm definitely down. So let's get into it, my friends. Let's see what we got here. So we got the homie Pooh, Roland Freestyle. Let's go.
Pooh, let's go. Opie Trice, let's get it. Yeah. I'm feeling like a nigga up in shackles. Yep. I wanna be free, but this bitch keep handcuffing me. Every time Obi leaves, she's pulling my sleeve, saying Obi deceive, he don't believe. But baby girl, I just wanna be free. Tired of being home for your ass before 3. When you're not pleasing me, dirty up your knees and blow some trees. You rolling with a G, baby. Pooh. You rollin' with a G, you rollin' with me. Ended with a U, started with a P. You don't wanna start it with me. Lyrically, bloodstained where the carpet would be. Beats, they're a part of me. Move over, pardon me. Ballin' with a beard like Harden B. Please, this shit ain't hard for me. No, tell me I'm nice, you honor me. Something up my sleeve, you honor me. Rap well, call me Moby. On the track, Pooh and Obi. Ever since '03, been solo, but not lonely, homie. Freestyle for your minds. Come through, baby. We got it. I'm out.
I'm out. Quick little freestyle for the soul. Okay, okay, okay. I like that. I like that. All right. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. So, definitely has that like freestyle feel to it when you want to like talk about the beat. Also, couple things to discuss here, but we're talking about three things. We're talking about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals, and we're talking about the overall theme of Roland Freestyle. So, let's talk instrumental here. Um, it definitely has that like freestyle kind of feel to it, so it's definitely a solid choice if this is like the vibe you're going for. You know what I mean? It has that like loose feel to it, as to where like you could spit almost like anything on it, and it would probably be sick. Just because some beats are like that, but mix is fantastic. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Melodies are great, drums are great, vocals sit nice. Nothing that I really noticed that was like off at all, to be honest with you. Instrumental mix is definitely there. Um, Instrumental shining star. Mm, I like the drums a lot, right? But I do feel like the melody played a major part in the mood of this song. It's a very serious kind of sounding instrumental and track itself. So definitely the melody, for sure, the melody. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix also great. Pooh tends to approach um vocals with their pretty much natural voice. Slight processing here or there, but they have a solid like natural rap voice. So they tend to like exploit that and try to like really reel in that raw feel, and I definitely think Pooh nails it when it comes down to their mix, no doubt. Um so with that said, vocals sit nice, nothing clashing to overbearing. Everything cuts through. Everything's nice and level. Nothing that really stuck out to me, to be honest with you. So vocals are definitely great. Uh so Vocal shining star. Um. So I'm kind of torn between the writing and lyrics or the flowing cadence and delivery. I think I'm gonna go with flowing cadence and delivery, just because in terms of a freestyle, like when you think about a freestyle, I feel like sometimes if you have like kind of like mid range lyrics, that's okay as long as you're actually like flowing on the beat. You know what I mean? So I think Pooh had a little bit of both on this, but I think flowing cadence and delivery really knocked it out for me, definitely. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the melody, vocal solid, definitely flow cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme. Um, Rowan freestyle. This is some crazy art. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, this kind of like takes me back to like 2018, 2019 almost. You know what I mean? With like this super solid art style, almost like anime like, and the font choice is really solid too. That's kind of like a rare font. You know what I mean? That's definitely not like a common font, but it's not too much. It's not really overdoing it, especially for a freestyle. It has that like big city kind of feel, especially at night. So I like the aesthetic choice a lot. 100%. So aesthetics on point. Overall theme. Um, I mean, it's a freestyle, right? So you don't really like go in with a theme. I mean, sometimes you can, right? Sometimes you're like, yo, I'm gonna go freestyle about this. But sometimes, you can just bounce from idea to idea. So, um, you could kind of like narrow down a theme here, but this was definitely more of a showcase of lyricism and skill, if anything. And the fact that it's actually like a solid track is another plus. You know what I mean? So, well done. Well done. Huge shout out to Pooh. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow Pooh on Twitter. They're 5 followers away from 500. Great milestone. Go ahead and get it. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, every artist is literally in every upload, so make sure you go show that some love. And make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 240 subroonies. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good stuff available over there, man. So go show these artists on the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you, thank you, thank you. Didn't Obi try to do some stuff with Eminem in the 90s? I believe so. Yes, yes. You'll have to confirm with Pooh about that. I'm sure they'll see this in the rebroadcast and confirm. But I believe so. I believe so. So huge shout out to Pooh, man. Up next, obviously, would be Jordan, but since Jordan's Music Mondays Patreon, we've already reacted to Jordan, so feel free to go back and check that out. But up next, we have the homie I Say. Now, we reacted to one of their tracks a couple weeks ago in December, but that was their first time submitting. So I'm definitely excited to get a little bit deeper into their library for sure. Definitely excited. So they submitted a track titled Bye Bye. Now this is a very talented alternative vocalist, but they do have a knack for genre blending. Last I remember, they definitely blend some genres. So I'm excited to see what we got here. So let's see here. All right, we got the homie I Say, and they submitted Bye Bye. Let's go.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do.
Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, swipe swipe, bye bye, bye bye, there is a bye bye, bye bye, swipe swipe, swipe swipe. Now she buy tickets to see my show, tickets to see my show. There was a bye bye, bye bye.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your
Bye
children.
bye.
That's the last thing we want to do.
I saw that bitch, you better get up, get up, get up, get up. Why you on the floor? Get up, get up. You did not trust me, get up, get up. Why you crying? Why you crying? I told baby you better get up, get up. I'm the dude that you're watching right now. So gonna cry, drop a tear, cry. Drop a tear, girl, drop a tear. One day, one night, you're gonna cry, yo. You're gonna get how you treated me. You're gonna get how you treated me, yeah. Come again, one day, one night, you're gonna cry, yo. You're gonna get how you treated me. You're gonna get how you treated me, yeah.
With the bye-bye. Need her entertainment, so she need a Wi-Fi.
Oh shit.
Baby, we can look on sci-fi. If I pull up on you, this is not a drive-by. If we on a team, baby, give me high five. I've been trying to grind on my ass and take you there. On my Sean Kingston vibe, I'ma make you sweat. Lay my tongue on your neck just to get you wet. Think I'm a good guy till you spit disrespect. You gonna call me out my name, saying it with your chest. You get dismissed. To the left, they get irreplaceable. Just exhale, don't hold your breath. Now I'm on top of the world and you clueless. The dopest that you seen, come and do it. If you want my love, gotta prove it. Too big headed for my liking, better move it.
One day, one night, you're gonna cry, yo.
Okay.
You're gonna get how you treated me. You're gonna get how you treated me, yeah. Come again, one day, one night, you're gonna cry, yo. You're gonna get how you treated me. You're gonna get how you treated me, yeah.
I like the choice of letting the beat ride out there for sure. So what a banger that was. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, once again, the genre blending is definitely there, and that sample, we don't want to do anything to hurt your kids or whatever it says. Like, I feel like I know that from somewhere. I don't know where that's from. I heard that and I was like, where have I heard that? That sample is vaguely familiar. But yeah, that was great. That was great. Let's talk about it. So, we're gonna talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme. Bye bye. So, I like the instrumental choice overall, if I'm being honest with you. Like, the fact that they even picked this instrumental is great. I feel like Ice has like such a interesting taste in beats. Like, certain artists like kind of gravitate towards not like weird or hard beats, but like just interesting, right? Like they know a very like stylish instrumental when they hear it. And this is definitely Ice for sure. But mix is fantastic. Nothing clashing to overbearing. Drums are fucking amazing, to be honest with you. Everything's nice and level. Nothing that really like stuck out to me that was like overbearing. Yeah, no, mix is fantastic. Instrumental Shining Star. I feel like drums, to be honest with you. Like, melody's definitely up there, but the drums for some reason definitely like stuck with me for some reason. They were super bouncy. I like the sound selection, and the 808s kind of had this like interesting kind of grit to them. So yeah, definitely the drums for sure. So drums are solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix for both of these artists is really solid. Like, no gripes whatsoever. Vocals sit nice, drums cut through nicely. Nothing like super clashy, super like intense. Nothing like felt out of place, Yeah, thinking back on it, no gripes. No gripes. Vocal Shining Star. I like the flow and cadence and delivery, but I feel like the hook is definitely catchy too. The hook is definitely like very memorable. So I'm kind of torn between hook and flow and cadence and delivery. But the writing too, probably the hook. Probably the hook. Just because the hook is catchy and it's gonna be the thing that probably draws, like a first time listener back. You know what I mean? It definitely has that groovy kind of feel to it, so definitely the hook. Definitely the hook. So instrumental solid, definitely drums, vocal solid, definitely the hook. Let's talk theme. Theme. So kind of a really fire cover, I'm not gonna lie to you. Super simple, great text, great concept, right? It kind of reflects the theme as well. So I mean, definitely nailed it. You know what I mean? Like definitely did it. Throw a little pretzel visor in there, and you're good to go, to be honest with you. Like sometimes like the cartoon styles can be like a little iffy, but I like this style a lot. It's very like HD and very like very modern, if you will. I feel like sometimes cartoon art can be like very it looks like early 2010-ish, you know what I mean? But this one definitely has like a solid look to it. Aesthetics absolutely. Overall theme, right? Relatively simple, kind of just like really about people not having access to you, kind of not really letting people sneak up on you when they feel like you're doing well, or somebody tries to like finesse you when you're kind of on the right path, right? It's written in like a very fun way, but it has a true meaning behind it. You know what I mean? Because that'll really happen, especially when you start to get traction with anything in life, not just music or art. Could be anything. Could be your job. Could be video games. Could be uh drawing, art. You name it. Sometimes when you start to do well, people are like, oh, da 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 da. Let me come to the show sometime. Head ass. So definitely a fun song with like a very honest theme to it. Definitely. So well done, my friends. Well done. Huge shout out to I Say. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. They are 5 followers away from 720. Go show them some love in the bird. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We are approaching 240 subscribers on the main channel. We're about like 3 away, man. So go sub to the channel if you haven't. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, loose segments, a lot of good stuff's available over there, man. So go show the channel and these artists some love. Let's get it. So, up next, we got the homie Waz, aka Just Waz. And Waz had a really solid 2023. Like almost all the drops, literally all of the drops that we got to react to here on the show were fantastic. So I'm definitely like stoked to see what Waz has for the new year. I'm definitely excited. So they submitted a track titled Salerno. And I believe this is off one of their latest projects. Now, for those of you who don't know, Waz is a super, super talented hip-hop artist. And they submitted another track off of their project, It's Supposed to Rain. I forget how many tracks were on here. 9 tracks. Let's go, baby. Go. Alright, so Waz submitted Salerno. So let's get into it. Let's go. Oh, shit. We're about to get groovy.
Yeah. Lost that feeling, it was there though. Thought I left it in Salerno. Pick him up as if he fell down the stairs. A different point of view, cause that high could be his low. Could climb a whole tower, I heard the stuff they tried to spew. Bet you the game power is dumb foul. Collect regrets like old t-shirts, you just got piles. I was cruising, heading out the window next to the lake. Sun was beating off, reflections inspired me to create. beef patty. No fussing, now time with the family. What I need badly, nothing, now make it snappy. Rest in peace, Grandma Sandy, I really miss you badly. Combing through my old voicemails is a picture of the past me. Every answer's right. Fixing how you're something might water down what you like. Used to be at the junction, took the road that did me right. And that came with a price. Dreams got killed with assumptions, they were turning on the lights. I was like,
I really need to know. I really, really, really need to know. In fact, I really, really need to know.
was stuck watching cause I couldn't feel my own. What's poppin', Jack Harlow, the kids are home. Sippin' stole, all their name drops got old. Serotonin pumping, you would've thought that you got close.
You tricked the host.
Hid in the closet till he fell asleep, but only stole some fine china and not the TV. I was high as can be down in the Bowery. Low in Manhattan, put forth some raps for a crowd of 3. It's just the homies until the world change, I hope you're not fake. She won't hit me back, overthinking about what her friends would say. Insecurities, projecting like a college class. Brags about where her son studies, he's dumb as ass. Sitting fast, think I missed a few, let him pass. Bad prospect, got the bag, I get you have to ask. I had a vision of my future, all I saw was cash. She wasn't free, I should've known it wouldn't last.
Wait, Waz killed this. This is crazy. Dumb as ass. Sample is almost like a bit eerie, you know what I mean? It's almost like a bit like scary at the end there. But fantastic. Like this was a great fucking, like everything about this song was like the perfect package, you know what I mean? Like this is a great like single off of this project. I don't remember forget which one. Was it the intro outro? Or was it Oculus? We reacted to one other track on this project and it was just as good. You know what I mean? So now we're like 2 for 2 on this project, so I'm definitely excited to break this one down. I might possibly have the worst cold I've ever had. Feel better, my friend. Everyone's coming down with something lately. No, I feel you. There's definitely something in there. But let's talk about this track, man. So we're gonna talk about 3 things here. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Salerno. So instrumental. The fact that this was even picked for this project was pretty crazy. Just because the sample would throw a ton of artists off, right? Like I think artists are very 50-50 when it comes to beats like this. They're either like, yo, this is fucking fire, or like, yo, get this out of my face. You know what I mean? And Waz took this with strides and really killed it. So I like the choice off rip. I knew from the first note it was going to be interesting, just because of the sample. So I was like, yeah, no, this would be crazy. So let's talk mix. Fantastic. Especially when you consider the sample, everything's super solid. Drums are solid. Vocals sit nice. Nothing clashing to overbearing. Other than that, like really stuck out to me. Waz is an artist that's always had their mixes down when it comes to either the instrumentals they use or their vocals, right? So no shocker there, but you always want to point it up. Instrumental Shining Star. It's got to be the sample. It'd be disrespectful if we didn't talk about that vocal sample. Like that vocal sample definitely was a big highlight of this. But I do think that drums and structure definitely played like a solid part here as well, though. Like definitely, but I just think the sample is great. So definitely the sample. Let's talk vocals. So we'll pretty much just like the instrumental. Waz's vocal mix is fantastic, right? Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Drums cut through nicely. Vocals sit nice. Everything's nice and level. Waz has a really like solid natural voice. Though again, much like a couple of other artists, light processing tend to let their like natural voice kind of shine and really do the damage. So definitely solid when it comes to the vocal mix. Vocal shining star. Gotta be writing. There's a couple times where shit just made me chuckle, or like I think Waz songs are always fun to follow along to and listen to purely for the lyrics. So it's pretty hard for me to not choose lyrics, but Flow and Cadence is definitely a close second. But I'm gonna go ahead and say lyrics just because there was a lot of like serious bars here. There's a lot of fun bars here. Yeah, definitely lyrics for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely sample. Vocal solid, definitely the lyrics. And writing. Let's talk theme. So I spoke a little bit about this cover on the last reaction, but I love covers like this just purely for the fact that it has like a nice mix of IRL and like graphic design, right? It's not doing too much of one thing. And it's project worthy. I like the font that was chosen. And I like how the whole like upper half is utilized, right? I don't feel like there's any like blank areas here. Then we have the Just Was logo in the top left. So like, you know what I mean? Totally project worthy, and I'm always a fan of covers like that for sure. So Lerno overall theme. So obviously this is like, titled off of like a bar in the song, right? So it's not entirely about just one thing. And I definitely think that Waz can write about themes. We've definitely reacted to tracks where Waz has really gone in about one theme, but I definitely think this track was a wonderful lyrical showcase and a showcase of writing ability. If I'm being completely honest with you. You know what I mean? Like definitely writing ability for sure. This is more about the skill set than it was like overall like theme. You know what I mean? Waz picked a beat, absolutely destroyed it, and was really able to put it together here for sure. Like this is a very good like, oh, you make music, show me one of your songs, and you show them this, and you're like, holy shit, you know what I mean? So this is one of those for sure. But well done, my friend. Well done. Make sure you follow Waz on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow them on Twitter. They're approaching 1.2K on the Bird app, so go show them some love. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 240 sub-roonies on the main channel, my friends. We upload 2 times a week, literally. Every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good stuff's available over there. So go show these artists on the channel some love, and if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you. Good example of a fun song. I agree. Like for like underground hip hop fans that love like really good writing, I definitely think that that's one to like spin back for sure. But speaking of Filter, who's currently in chat right now, our next submission is from Filter. Now, it's been not that long. It's only been like a couple weeks since we heard from Filter. But a super talented alternative vocalist and producer submitted Kidney Stones. Missing some vocals. That's okay. No problem. So, got a little private track here. So let's check this out. Let's see what we got here. All right. A little unreleased from Filter. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right. Filter, Kidney Stones. Let's go. Drop's gonna be crazy.
I said I'm sick, I tired of feeling fried, got a wheel in my back. I'm
Wow. Damn. What a dreamlike outro. Yeah, no. Fucking crazy. Okay. Definitely much to talk about. Much to talk about. Filter has got to have the biggest stash of unreleased music in all of anybody. Like, holy shit. Okay. Um let's break this one down. So, um we're gonna talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme, kidney stones. So, instrumental is fucking fantastic. Like, Filter is an artist and producer that always has a knack for like not experimental instrumentals. I don't think experimental is like the right word, but they blend sounds so well that sometimes you don't even really want to put like a name to it or a genre on it, you know what I mean? It's just Filter, you know what I mean? Because it has such a interesting mix of sounds. Such an interesting mix of sounds that work, you know what I mean? And I think that's why it's not experimental, because I think with experimental stuff, to some degree, it has to sound like it doesn't work. That's the thing with this. It's not experimental like that. It's very much just like pushing the bar. You know what I mean? Like how alternative can you get type shit before it starts sounding like experimental. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about these instrumentals, and especially this one, and like no doubt. But the mix is great. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. I love the way the vocals sit. I love the vocal mix. Drums are fantastic. Sound selection's fantastic. Nothing that I really caught on to that was a bit off, if I'm being honest with you. Um, Everything's super solid when it comes down to the instrumental mix. I definitely wouldn't change a thing. Um, Instrumental Shining Star. Mm. Melody's up there. Drums, you could say for sure, but I feel like structure is kind of underrated. Most Filter instrumentals have like a very interesting structure, and this one's no different. It's not that the structure is like crazy or erratic. I just think that a little bit of spice in the structure never hurts, right? And this is one where the intro is like really solid. The middle of the track's really solid, because like you can even tell by the waveform. You know what I mean? Like look at the waveform. That's good structure right there. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's very underrated, and you could kind of like skip over that. So for that reason, I think I'm gonna say structure for the instrumental, but drums are a close second for sure. Um, let's talk vocals. Uh, Vocal mix. Now, much like with instrumentals, Filter is definitely an artist that likes to push their vocal mix as well. And again, it's not to like experimental heights. I just think they like to really push their limits and really try to achieve like new ceilings, which every artist should be doing, right? Like you should be wanting to push your like best skill even further. You know what I mean? Like how can I improve this? How can I switch this up? How can I X, Y, or Z. And here we have a nice little combination of vocal styles, and I really like it. So mix definitely on point, nothing clashing, too overbearing. And I think the thing that I really like about it too is it's different. It's not your standard mix. You know what I mean? That you hear everywhere. You know what I mean? Like it has a bit of like a shine to it, if you will. You know what I mean? You can just tell it's different. Um, so vocal mix again, fantastic. Um, vocal shining star. Uh, Flow and cadence is up there. Mm, Flow and cadence is up there. The hook I really like a lot though, and then the overall writing's really solid too. So there's like three things that like instantly come to mind that was like really solid about vocals, but I do like the flow and cadence just because it's relaxing yet passionate. So probably flow and cadence and delivery, but the hook and writing were like a super close second. Writing overall is like a super close second. Like you could really argue for both, but flow and cadence and delivery has that like passion behind it. So that's what I like about it a lot. So instrumental solid, definitely structure. Vocal solid, definitely the uh flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme. So, aesthetics kind of have an unreleased track here. So this could be like a placeholder cover. This could be like one of those like, it could be the final cover. You know what I mean? So this could always change, but I do like the placeholder. Like, you know how I feel about the IRL covers, man. Like the IRL covers always hit, even if it is like a full release, like it's always a safe bet, right? It's always a safe bet. So, um aesthetics on point, but pending new art if it gets released. Overall theme. Now, you could take this a couple ways. It could definitely be um one of those songs for you as a listener that's like, it has that passion about emotions that you resonate with, or it's more deeper and it's metaphorical, right? Because the title Kidney Stones could really be just a metaphor for like everlasting effects of emotional pain, right? Because kidney stones are some really like hardcore shit, right? And it's like kidney stones are something that's like you get when you're going through it, right? You're treating yourself badly, you drink soda, you're not drinking water, you're just really going through it. And that is a side effect of also, emotional traumas and, life things and stressed out and you know what I mean? So it's a very like hidden meaning behind this and like if you resonate with that, then you you're like okay. But at a surface level, you could definitely resonate with the fact that Filter really puts their emotions behind certain lyrics and lines, and you can not only hear it, but the writing itself kind of explains it all. You know what I mean? So, um, there's there's a really like solid meaning behind almost all of these tracks, but this one in particular has that like that almost like subliminal story for it. You know what I mean? And sometimes it'll hit you instantly, and then sometimes it's like, oh, that's what that means. And just like Filter said in chat, bingo. You know what I mean? So one of those things that really takes a knack to do. You know what I mean? It's not every day that you can just write like that. So well done, well done. With that said, make sure you follow Filter on SoundCloud, and of course, make sure you follow Filter on Twitter. Literally 4 followers away from 40, so go show Filter some love on the motherfucking bird out, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We are approaching 240 subroonies on the main channel, so go show these artists in the channel some motherfucking love, my friends. And if you already have, thank you, because we quite literally upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, segments, a lot of good stuff's available. So go show these artists and the motherfucking channel some love. Let's see here, chat. So we are about halfway through the show. I think we only have a couple submissions left. So what we are going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we return, we're going to get through the rest of our community submissions. We're going to talk about, of course, the next upcoming week on Music Mondays and a whole lot of good stuff. So with that said, make sure you go get a drink, go walk the dog, go get a smoke, go do whatever you need to do. And when we return, we're going to hop right back into some. So don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live with the Music Mondays podcast, episode 154. How we doing? Let's roll back into some community submissions, my friend. Get it. Up next would be the Homie Offspring Series, but they actually submitted an hour-long video. So if we have time at the end of the show, we are definitely gonna give that submission a peep for sure. But we have some other tracks to go through here. So, up next we have the homie Braden. Now, again, Braden was actually in the running for Artist of the Year for 2023, because they had a really, really stellar year when it comes to consistency and quality and really just improving in general. So, definitely excited to see Braden's 2024, but they submitted a track titled Enemies. Let's see what we got. I am definitely down. Let's get into it. Braden, Enemies.
You're so toxic.
I've tried too hard to be friendly. All my best friends really tryna end me. Got a close circle, I know that they envy. Got a bag on me, you know that shit heavy. I know I got enemies. Some of them are even friends with me. She a goddess, she's so heavenly. And I don't know where she's sending me. And I don't know what I'm doing. Think I'm gonna lose it. I've been going through it. I don't know if I'm human no more. Now I'm freaking out. I'm on the ground. I smoke too much, then I black out. And I don't know if I'm human no more. You don't even know what I've been through. My life's been shit since I met you. After this song, I'ma forget you, and I won't let you in. I've tried too hard to be friendly. All my best friends really tryna end me. Got a close circle, I know that they envy. Got a bag on me, you know that shit heavy. I know I got enemies. Some of them are even friends with me. She a goddess, she's so heavenly. And I don't know where she's sending me.
Damn. A lot of beat fade outs tonight. Like the third one.
You're so toxic.
Okay. All right, man. Wow. So that was a crazy submission to start the year. I won't lie to you, my. Let's talk about it. So, we're talking about three things here. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Enemy. So, wow. All right. Instrumental's fantastic. This is a very Braden type instrumental, so no shocker that this definitely has Braden's name all over it, right? Proper drums, proper melody. Definitely has the sound on lock. But let's talk mix. So mix is great. Again, per usual. Nothing clashing to overbearing. Vocals sit nice. Everything cuts through nice. Nothing I noticed along the way that was a bit off. And again, Braden's one of those artists that has a really consistent mix when it comes down to like almost all their songs. So not really a shocker, but something I always want to point out. Instrumental Shining Star. I feel okay. So the drums are fantastic, right? The drums are really, really solid, but I feel like the melody has some like it's just so memorable, and it's definitely catchy, right? It definitely has that like catchiness to it. but um, definitely the melody. I feel like the melody is a very Braden kind of melody for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix, absolutely motherfucking fantastic, no question. Not really a shocker there, right? Again, much like the instrumentals, Braden's always had like a really solid vocal mix when it comes out to all of their tracks. So again, not a shocker, but you always want to point it out. Um, Vocal Shining Star. This is very more. This is a more melodic side of Braden, which we've obviously seen many times. But um, I feel like the way that this hook is written and performed is really crazy, really really crazy. I like the writing throughout the whole track, if I'm being honest. But the hook is what you could easily just get this stuck in your head or just singing it, or the hook is definitely something that you take away from this on the first list. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the melody, vocal solid, um, definitely the hook, theme. So, aesthetics. Now, Braden's opted for a switch of art style changes. Sort of like at the end of last year into the new year, which I thought was really cool. You know what I mean? Because as much as I love the consistent um art styles, I definitely think it's cool to switch it up too. You know what I mean? So now Braden's kind of going in for the more IRL art styles, which I like a lot. This one's kind of an interesting piece, right? Because relatively simple, but has the face kind of smudged, right? Which obviously implies, um, stress, trauma, going through a rough time, right? Like that's sort of like what you feel like, or that described in an image for sure. So, um, solid choice and a solid piece, no question. Overall theme. So, enemies is definitely like a broad title because I think Braden definitely bounces around here from talking about former friends or fake friends or people that have wronged them in their love life, you know what I mean? All of which you could call an enemy, but it's not about one specific type of enemy. It's definitely just people throughout the years that you come across in life, right? As many good people as you do meet, you're going to meet a lot of shitty people too, right? And even people that you once had a lot of respect for, and a lot of love. And they'll do you wrong and you'll learn from it. And it's one of those things that has this like everlasting effect on it. And I think Braden does a good job kind of describing what that's like in the moment. And this is one of those where he touches on not just personal relationships, but like even friends too, right? Because friends can like backstab you, fall off, um, turn fake, start acting sketchy, and then same thing with your love life and a partner or a girl or a boy or anybody, like could be anything. So that's really where it's like, you know, kind of broad, but it's all the same box. You know what I mean? It's all the same box and it's all life. I think Braden did a really good job kind of grouping them together and describing the same feeling for two different scenarios, So, well done. For sure. Huge shout out to Braden. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Make sure you go follow Braden on Spotify and of course make sure you follow Braden on Twitter. They're approaching 60 followers, literally 4 away. Go show Braden some love with Bird out, my friend. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 240 subscribers, man. I think we're about 2 or 3 away. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a lot of good stuff's available over there. So go show the channel and these artists some love. Let's get it, baby. So we left off with the homie Braden. Up next is the homie Insomniac. It's been really like a month or so since we heard from Insomniac. It's been not that long, but a very very talented producer submitted a track titled Strange Remix. Is quite the title. So let's see what we got here from the homie Insomniac, man. With the homie Karma, and it's an Insomniac remix. Okay. So we got a little bit of a remix going down here. Get into it. Insomniac, Strange Remix. There you go.
Hips all in circles. Hormones got you verbal. This mouth universal. Did I do that herbal? Give you that, mm-mm. You got that, mm-mm. Melting in my mouth. Take it to the south. You like the way my body move. Show me if you naughty too. I don't need your name, but you damn sure gonna need mine. Crazy for that kitty. The way I'm trying to get it. Open up and let me sip it. Guarantee that I'm gonna hit it. Hips all in circles. Hormones got you verbal. This mouth universal. Did I do that herbal? Give you that, mm-mm. You got that, mm-mm. Melting in my mouth. Take it to the south. I possess your body. I get so deep. I do you so often. There's just no stopping. Pulling on your hair, like I'm pulling on the reins. Pulling on your hair. Yeah, you'll never be the same. Hips all in circles. Hormones got you verbal. This mouth universal. Did I do that herbal? Give you that, mm-mm. You got that, mm-mm. Melting in my mouth.
That Urkel line is something, bro. Okay. Really interesting track there, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely excited to break this one down. Um so Karma. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is the vocalist. Alright. I'm starting to see. I'm starting to see. It. Okay. And then they did a collab project. And Insomniac did beat. Okay, I see. Alright. I see what we're stepping in. Okay. Let's talk about it. We're talking about three things. We'll talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme. Let's go. So, let's talk instrumental. So, obviously, we've never heard the original, right? So, only so much info to go on here, but Insomniac definitely did their thing, kind of making this a little bit more obscure, right, than the original. I guarantee it. But with that said, before we get into that, let's talk mix. Mix is good for what it is. To be honest with you, drums are solid. Vocals sit nice. Melodies are good. Nothing clashing. Nothing kind of like sticking out that's like too much. Yeah, no. Levels are solid. Everything's kind of chilling. Yeah, nothing that really like struck a chord with me. You know what I mean? Definitely a solid instrumental mix, no doubt. Instrumental Shining Star. I like the drums. I feel like drums are up there. but the melodies were kind of crazy too. Like the sound selection in particular was very unique. It had this like classical kind of like almost old school hip hop feel, but a little bit more modern. You know what I mean? So I definitely think the melodies kind of were a big player in that for sure. So definitely the melodies, but drums were a close second. Drums are definitely a close second. Let's talk vocals. Vocals here are interesting, right? So vocal mix definitely on the more natural side, but it's not like peaking or it's not like, you know, overly done. You know what I mean? It's definitely not that. Um so for what the mix is, super level, drums cut through nicely, vocals sit on the instrumental nice. So no gripes there, right? I think the vocal mix is right where it needs to be. Um Now Karma definitely is going for like a more like raw kind of feel, so that's why the less processing. So their vocals are solid too, but when it comes down to um vocal shining star, there's a couple of things to consider here. So I think all in all, I think the writing kind of takes the cake here because this is obviously like a very like um what's the word? Kind of like an erotic, exotic kind of track, you know what I mean? But when it comes down to like the actual delivery of it, it was very interesting, right? Because it had this like, you know, like just a very like laid back flow mixed with like a laid back delivery, which kind of made for like a lackluster um first listen for sure. But I think with the writing and the ability to actually write this out, I think that's what was really solid about this because there's no doubt that they can actually like write a track, right? It's more so about like actually like being passionate behind it. But I think writing definitely takes the cake here for sure. Writing, 100%. Um so instrumental solid, definitely the melodies, vocal solid, definitely the writing. Let's talk theme. So this is a part of a 3-track remix, and we have a like a solid like simple approach. To be honest with you, I think that's what's like really sick about this is it's not insanely flashy, but it does have that kind of project feel to it. Like no doubt it does. That's what I really like about this. It has that like full effect. You know what I mean? And like the whole neon kind of vibe is something I really like. Um, it definitely has that Insomniac style for sure, and it's totally EP. Um, Aesthetics very solid. Overall theme, like I said, definitely more on the like erotic side. You know what I mean? Obviously, um, but I think they did good. To be honest with you, like I think they did really good when it comes down to um, like writing this out and actually making like a respectable writing like attempt. You know what I mean? It's not like lazy writing at all. It definitely has a decent amount of punchlines. It has like almost like a story to it. It's very like easy to visualize as well. There's a couple things about this that are like really really fucking solid. So, um, well done, well done. I always like it when prods come through and do like remixes for artists and stuff like that. So definitely think that this is a solid idea. But with that said, huge shout out to Karma and Insomniac. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify. And of course, make sure you follow Insomniac on Twitter. They are approaching 2.4K on the bird app, my friends. Go show them some love on the motherfucking bird. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 240 subscribers on the main channel. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, segments, whole lot of good stuff's available over there on the channel. So go show these artists in the channel some love. Let's get it. So, let's see. We left off with the homie Insomniac, and up next we have the homie Survival and Negativity. Now, Survival actually won Music Monday's Reaction of the Year for 2023. So huge shout out to Survival. It was a two-way tie between Survival and Music, but Survival, being a super talented hip hop artist, submitted a track titled Midnight Society, intro track from our Nightlife for Thinking Introverts EP. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening. Okay. I see you, Survival. I'm with it. I'm definitely with it. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. So we've already heard a couple tracks off of this project, so I'm down. Let's get into it. Survival Negativity, Midnight Society.
And as the sun sets and the night falls, and the night falls,
Where's my snare?
Where's my snare?
A third to a half of the population are introverts. A third to a half. So that's 1 out of every 2 or 3 people you know. You need to understand what introversion is. And it's different from being shy. Shyness is about fear of social judgment. Introversion is more about how do you respond to stimulation, including social stimulation.
Word up.
Midnight Society. All we have is trust
Okay.
and understanding in our struggle for uninterrupted privacy. In tune with the twilight's vibrations and vibrancy. The height of the witching hour where volition and vices peak. Aspiring insomniacs come alive when the sun retracts. To the fire in our eyes, some react. Cold shoulder light, no hope in sight for the socially broken who chose to roam alone at night. Minor oversight by the socialite elites living bright, but we dwell in parts of the water that don't reflect the city lights. Most reject when given powers of invisibility. To some it's a curse, for us a gifted agility to move freely as we please, slip between shadows and leave it up to sleep to walk our dreams to the gallows. Hallowed by moonlight, forsaken by the morning scene, forged in the forages of self-instated quarantine.
Hello. On behalf of Survival and Negativity and Be Positive, I'd like to welcome you to Nightlife for Thinking Introverts. According to psychologist Jonathan Cheek, who teaches personality psychology, there are 4 types of introverts: social, thinking, anxious, and restrained, with a thinking introvert being described as one who is frequently deep in their thoughts and tends to be introspective, self-reflective, and often loses themselves in dreamy imagination. Presented in this project are the thoughts and behaviors of one such person. Sin and Be Positive would like to take this time to thank you in advance for lending your ear and attention to this body of work. We hope you enjoy what you are about to hear and continue to join us in other future endeavors. From Baltimore, to Portland, to wherever you are. Thanks for listening.
Wow.
So extroverts really crave large amounts of stimulation.
Great
whereas introverts
idea.
feel at their
Great
most
idea.
alive and they're most switched on and they're most capable when they're in quieter, more low-key environments. Not all the time, you know, these things aren't absolute, but a lot of the time. So the key then to maximizing our talents is for us all to put ourselves in the zone of stimulation that is right for us.
Is that really track 1? It really is track 1. That is a fucking crazy intro, I'm not gonna lie to you. That is exactly like... Okay, so random tangent here, but as a prod, I love using samples like this. It just goes back to like the producer thing where like if you're a producer kind of putting out your own tracks, right? You have a really like easy way of like using samples and really kind of, you know, pushing the bar when it comes to that sort of thing. And I'm just a big fan of this, and this is like one of the best intros to a project I've heard in quite some time, where somebody actually put some effort behind it, and they didn't just fucking do like a small intro or just like made a track and called it an intro. This is like a meaningful intro. So I just want to say that. But let's talk about it. We're gonna talk about 3 things here. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, and we're talking about the overall theme of the track. So, let's talk instrumental. A really solid instrumental choice. Eerie, ethereal, has that midnight kind of vibe that they were going for, no doubt. But the mix is great. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. I like a lot of the sound selection. I like pretty much everything about this intro. It's like a perfect like intro. You know? But yeah, mix is great. Vocals sit nice. Everything cuts through nicely. Nothing like too crazy here. Yeah, no gripes. No gripes at all. So instrumental mix solid. Instrumental shining star. I like the melodies a lot and I like the drums a lot, but it's got to be the sample usage. Like the way that the sample usage was just throughout the track and the description and everything about this, definitely the sample for sure. Absolutely no question. So instrumental solid, definitely a sample. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix per usual, great, to be honest with you. I think Sin has like a really solid vocal style when it comes to their vocals and like how they really like their vocals to sound, right? They definitely have a consistent sound, but they also know like what they like. This is an artist that has like a really solid natural voice, so they really let that shine with like minimal processing, you know? But the mix itself is great, nothing clashing, too overbearing, drums cut through nice, will sit nicely. No gripes, but not really a shocker, but you always want to point it out. Vocal shining star. I'm kind of torn between writing and flow and cadence. Because the writing is where like the muscle of the song is, but the flow and cadence was like, damn. Like, okay, damn. Like, so probably flow and cadence, I'm not gonna lie. Flow and cadence and delivery, but writing was definitely up. So instrumental solid. Definitely the sample usage, vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence and delivery, a stock theme. So, aesthetics. Now, this is a cover that I've spoken a little bit about before in previous tracks that we've reacted off of this project, and it fits the vibe. Like, no question, it fits the vibe. This is 100% like a really solid, like it could be used for any project, but when it comes down to like an EP, this is like everything. And I'm a really big fan of this like it like has this like library, like almost old school like children, like Shel Silverstein kind of vibe to it. Like it has some of that. It has some of that for sure. So that's what I'm like. I'm just big on this. I'm really big on this. Simple, but really gets the job done. You know what I mean? And one of those covers, like the more you look at it, the more detail that you find. That's, you know, like especially for 7 songs, like that is a fantastic cover. Like that is a fantastic cover. But for every track that we've heard off of this project, I think this kind of nailed as far as that goes. So totally project worthy. Question. No question. The overall theme, right? Midnight Society. So I think you could pretty much gather the theme from the sample usage, right? A project about introverts, for introverts, by introverts. So I think that's something to behold, right? But with even like the way that it's spelt with like the sigh kind of like in brackets, I think that's very telling as well. So it speaks a lot about a feeling that I think a lot of people do have, right? It's not that people don't like socializing. I mean, yeah, some people don't like socializing, but sometimes it can be more exhausting than like people anticipate, right? And sometimes people work better under less pressure. You know what I mean? So in certain aspects there can be like a lot of pressure with all sorts of like necessary parts of life, right? Going to X, Y, or Z, going to functions, being in crowds, X, Y, or Z. You know what I mean? Like everybody kind of has that feeling to a degree, right? And then some people kind of like really wig out. So I think being an introvert is very one of those things that can be a struggle, but it's also not really like a super bad thing either. You know what I mean? So I feel like Sin really like took to the ballpark here and was like super honest with it. You know what I mean? Especially like off of the intro in this first track, it's just like, man, you know what I mean? Like this is this is like everything, you know? So I think the biggest takeaway here is the fact that this is the intro, and this would make almost anybody instantly want to listen to this project just because it's structured so well in like a really solid way that's gonna want to make people be like, okay, give this a spin. You know what I mean? Just off that intro alone. So I think the intro is fucking fantastic. Well done. Huge shout out to Sin. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Make sure you go follow Sin on Spotify. And of course, make sure you follow Sin on Twitter. They're 3 followers away from 300, man. That's a great milestone. Go show Sin some love. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 240 subscribers on the Music Mondays channel, so make sure you go sub to the channel and show love. And if you haven't, man, we upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, segments, a lot of good stuff's available. So go show these artists and the channel some love. And if you already have, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get it, baby. So our last submission of the night would be Nicole G, but we've already reacted to Mango Sky. I believe that was in episode 150 or 149. One of those a couple of weeks ago. But huge shout out to Nicole G for the submission. Regardless, and if you'd like to see us react to that, definitely go watch some previous Music Mondays episodes. But yeah, feel free to submit a track that we haven't reacted to, and we'll be happy to do it here on the show. But with that said, my friends, that about does it for episode 154 of the Music Podcast. Huge shout out to everybody that submitted, tuned in, showed love. We're gonna give some thanks. We're gonna talk about what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. And we're going to talk about episode 155 of the Music Mondays podcast. So, with that said, before we get into it, huge shout out to everybody that submitted tonight. Huge shout out to Thomas Marcus, Pooh, huge shout out to Jordan, huge shout out to Isay, huge shout out to Just Waz, Filter, Offspring, Brayden, Insomniac, Survival and Negativity, Nicole G, and everybody that tuned in and showed love in the chat as well. Huge shout out to the chat. Chat was actually popping tonight. Huge shout out to August, Filter, Tarek, Tom Exotic, Offspring, what's good, coming in at the tail end. Let's get it, baby. Appreciate you. Happy New Year's as well. I hope your holiday was well. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. And yeah, anybody else that lurked and chilled and may not have chatted, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But like I was describing at the top of the show, let's talk about what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. And everything else. So, of course, new year, new everything. So, we're going to start this quarter off pretty strong. Look for a social media kind of revamp. No new logos or anything like that, but just a little bit of a slight refresh. You know what I mean? So, that'll be coming very soon. We're going to be looking into some Music Mondays merch relatively soon as well. So, keep your eyes on that. And, of course, Cyberfest 2. So, 3 major events going down at Music Mondays right now, so make sure you, of course, follow our socials to stay up to date. We'll have a couple of YouTube uploads going up this week for pretty much everything, and of course, you can expect a brand new article on Friday on allmusic.com. And of course, per usual, submissions open for episode 155 tomorrow. So if you're watching this live, submissions open tomorrow. If you're watching this on YouTube, submissions open, or no, they're already open. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go submit your tracks, please. But yeah, huge shout out to everybody that came through and showed love tonight. Music Mondays Awards are live right now, so definitely go check that up. Ready. Of course, make sure you follow us on Twitter for all of your music updates. Follow us everywhere at All Music Mondays: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube, all of it, man. Definitely sub to YouTube as well. We're pushing to 240, man. 240. So go sub to the channel. Go show that some love. We upload relatively frequently, 2 times a week, actually. And of course, if you'd like to stream Music Mondays on all audio platforms, anchor.fm/allmusicmondays. We're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Take us on the go. We'd appreciate it. But, like I said, submissions open tomorrow for episode 155 of the Music Mondays podcast. And, yeah, that's about it, man. Make sure you stay tuned for some major updates for the new year. And I hope you guys had a safe, happy, and healthy holiday. Hope you guys enjoyed the end of the year. But time to get the grind back on and get some really good events, man. So, with that said, I love you guys. It's your boy Zomslays. You can follow, subscribe below. Everything linked below. All the socials. All the good stuff's linked down below. We're live like 6 days a week, man. Literally. So, make sure you come through, show the stream some love, and all that good stuff. But, with that said, We'll see you guys next week on Music Mondays for episode 105. It's your boy Zom Slays. Be safe. I love you. And take care.